everybody got their clique, everybody got their crew, everybody rep something, you know, whether you liked it or not. Like, you know, like everybody was shaking up, you know, like it didn't matter what you is. He was, and some points, some people had to just to like, you know what I'm saying, stay out the way. You know, like you had to, somebody walk up to you, what up, G? What up, Lord? What up, Mo? What up, you know? Shake up with them, you know what I'm saying? You know me, you know, I've all day.
Bounce back, ain't got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it.
My boy Trey, first of all, thank you for coming through.
Thank you, bro, for having me.
So, like I said, his name's Trey. Tell the people where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, man. A little bit of Indiana in me too, you know. Like shout out to 219. Yeah, man, and now I live in Boston, man. You know, rigging, doing my thing in live events, entertainments, and
hell yeah,
you know.
Yeah, you've been doing your thing, man.
Yeah.
So,
man.
What part of Chicago you from, and how is Chicago broken up for people who don't, you know, we out here in Mass. I don't know much about Chicago. Tell me how it's broken up. You know how we got Dorchester, Roxbury. How is Chicago broken up?
Mostly like it's zones: north, south, west. East is like the lakeside, like you know, Lake Michigan and stuff like that. But you know, it's a big grid. You know, like history.
Downtown, uptown, or is it just a downtown? You know, how some places got uptown and a downtown.
So you got like it's pretty simple from Boston. Boston, you know, Boston got its area, and then it's got the downtown area. Like you know, you got South End and North End and West. And you know the East, but we just don't have an East. You know, you got a downtown.
Got you.
It's a city. It's a big grid.
I mean, I pretty much I feel like everybody knows of the South Side of Chicago at least, right?
Yeah.
At least with this new age since the drill rap scene, and it kind of brings me back to like before all that, like. I didn't know Chicago was as crazy as it was, bro.
You know,
like, cause you had real quick though. You had the rappers like Common and Kanye, like conscious rappers, right? So like I didn't associate Chicago with that till the news kind of put it out. Started calling it Chirac.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know.
And that's when I was like, wow, shit's really. What kind of crazy stuff did you see there growing up, man? I mean, and what kind of stuff were you into out there?
Man, I was in everything, man. Everything, man. Like I was trying to do everything, man. I was a young buck. You know, I used to live at this group home out in like downtown Chicago. It was a nice little place and stuff like that. But like, you know, I was still off into the city. You know, you go off to school, you hop in the rails, you skipping school, you gang banging, you with your section at the table, you know, like I was in everything, man, you know, like.
I heard. What do you think attracted you to that lifestyle, and why did you gravitate towards that? Was it just like it's Chicago, this is all we got out here? Was it part of, it's all good. Was it part of the intrigue of that, or was it just like, what about it did you?
It was more of a.
Was the family already into it, like the street stuff, older cousins, like?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, like they thought we didn't see it when we were kids. You know, like, but it, you know, like as any kid, you know, you replicate what you see, whether you know it or not. Like, you know, like,
that's big
you know, like, and I'm heavy on that because I got kids now. Like, you know, I may do some wild shit, my adult shit, but like, you know, when I'm home, I'm big soft dad,
right?
Like, you know, like, cause you know,
man, you're a great father, man. Yeah, cause I believe like a lot of times kids do what they see, not really what they're told.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, you could tell them all you want, don't do this, but like I see you do this, and you're not, and especially if you're getting away with it, you're not in jail. Or you're not, you know what I mean? Because you're young, they realize the older you get when you start seeing that stuff happen.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
So what side of Chicago was you from?
Family all over, South Side mainly. I grew up with my grandmothers, my great-grandmother and my great-great-grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah. And we lived up right off of Racine, 79th and Racine.
Okay.
You know, like, if, you know, Longmont, Chicago.
Is that the trenches?
I mean, like, really, man, like...
The whole city?
I could tell you so many stories of shit I've seen.
Walk me through the craziest. No, you could swear. It's all
okay.
good. Walk me through like one of the craziest stories, one of the craziest things you've seen without obviously, you don't gotta throw nobody's name or we ain't trying to get nobody in trouble, but like, what's the craziest thing you've seen out in Chicago?
Man, somebody getting a lick back by getting hit by a car.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Caught him crossing the street and just smacked him. Ran him down. They didn't even
GTA.
Just like, I'm talking like kid crying on the side of the street, bleeding out.
That's crazy. Because I be thinking about that a lot too. Like,
I'll never forget
I'm
that.
like, damn, it's that'd be, because a lot of times, especially if you play it right, and not to promote it, but like the vehicular, like you could play the angle of it's an accident. I don't really know, but and then they start pulling up and see there's a history and all that stuff, and then you might be fucked. So I'm not condoning or telling anybody to go do that, but sometimes I be think, even when I was just like, I'll be on my bicycle sometimes trying to stay in shape, and I'm like, yo, if it was just like, what if it was like someone from back in the day that just all that motherfucker, I don't even know,
right?
Boom, boom, side swipe me or something like that.
Yeah,
and I do be thinking about that a lot, man, and that's, damn, bro.
Yeah.
How bad, like was the dude, like, oh, man, because
all four wheels on him. Like,
yeah.
Clear, yeah, man.
Dude was like crushed almost.
I couldn't tell, man.
How old were you when you saw that?
I was in second grade, man.
Second grade.
Yeah, my grandmother said, just let me like walk to school by myself. You feel me? I was just learning how to really cross the street by myself. Wow. My grandmother's is old. Yeah,
corner to corner. Wow.
You know, like it was the excitement of the people and like, okay, life outside, life, like like when you don't really have nobody to explain life to you, and you take it on your own, like everything becomes interesting. You're like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? What's that? Like, you're into everything. Everything's new. Like,
that's what's like one of the joys about being young is that, everything's new, but man, not everything's innocent. Especially
man.
When you see stuff like that, man. Would you say at that time that you had like some PTSD from that?
I could say.
I know seeing somebody pass away myself in front of me, man, like I couldn't even like close my eyes sometimes without like almost re-seeing it for like at least a couple of weeks. I know it's so long ago, but I don't know if you want to talk on that.
I mean, like, I've lost a lot of people, man. Like, RIP to my boy Nino, just passed 3 weeks ago, like.
Out there in Chicago?
No.
Someone from out here?
This is I can make a long story short. This was my boy. At the same time we were going through our troubles and our changes in life, and transitions, and we were longtime boys from a military school that I attended, and like we lived around the same place and stuff like that. We both had a bag, we both had a plane ticket, but he was going off into the Army, I was going off to Boston.
And so he passed away in the Army?
He came back and we reconnected out in Boston, man. Like it was like it's like like fate, like it's crazy, like
so it wasn't even planned.
Yeah.
Bro, that's wild. I see somebody in Florida that used to live around the corner from me. I'm like, what's the that's great. The chances of that, like that was meant to be. Well, especially now looking back, like where he's passed away now. You know what I mean? Like, maybe y'all were meant to have that.
He didn't get killed, but
okay, he passed away.
He committed suicide.
Damn.
PTSD. Well, because we go back to the PTSD
thing and the men's mental health thing. And nobody ever wants to talk about that and stuff like that. And that's part of this whole thing too, man. Like, I'm sure even just anybody growing up in Chicago must have PTSD, even if they haven't seen it. Just like, damn, dude was here yesterday, now he's gone today. How many of those? Like, how many people? Countless, I'm sure.
It's crazy, bro. Like, my life has changed so much on it because it's like like I've seen that, I've done that. Like, I look at people now and I try to tell these young bucks, like, listen, man, like, come on, man, like like out here in Boston, like it may be. It's a gritty city. I'm not even gonna lie.
I was gonna ask you from Chicago, get down, and I'm sure. Like, have you been to Boston before you came here?
Yeah. So when I touched down right here on Mass Ave. Okay. I was right off Mass Ave every day, taking the Silver Line to work to Quincy and shit. Word.
Was you surprised that Boston had like little trenches and stuff like that? You don't really hear much about that Boston on a national.
I really was. But you know what? I fucked with the vibe. Like I fucked with it. Like it was. They did their own thing. Like if you because you never heard of it. Like and you come out here, you see like, oh, niggas getting down, like, you know what I'm saying? It was respectable because like they doing their own thing in their own lane.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't trying to be televised and copycatted all around. Like they doing their thing, and you know, like shout out to my OGs out here in Boston. Like, you know, they doing their thing out here. You know, like, but it's Boston and Chicago. They're much of the same, and city wise, and you know, hood wise. You know, Chicago may be a little bit grittier. You know, Boston.
Well, just the sheer size and the population too. Boston has
you know,
under
like
a million people. Like Brooklyn has more, like double the people than Boston. And
you
that's
know,
just a section of New York, and Chicago's just as big as. Right,
and that may be the thing. Like in Boston, I kind of see like everybody kind of knows everybody. Everybody grew up with everybody, and it's like, you know, like, you know, like if you know somebody from either around the block, like you've ran into a mostly everybody once, and you know, like, and I kind of like see like that may be more of the, you know, the pull together in this city than it is in other cities, because like other cities so spread out. You know, you can go on the other side, you meet a whole group of people, you like, damn, like who, you know, like, you know, but like me and you, like, you know, like we ran into each other when I was cool with your boy Ant, and then we run back into each other. Look at us now, R.I.P. You feel me? Like, you know.
That's where we at today.
You know.
I'm super proud of everything you're doing now and all that stuff too. But before we get into that, what kind of so you say you went to military school?
Yeah.
Walk me through the events that led up to that.
All right. Like I said, I was a little knucklehead. Like, you know, moms was trying to figure alternatives out with like things. What can she do to save? You know, baby boy trying to change his life around. You know, like
keep going.
Yeah, you know, and most of everything got into it. Like, how can we say? Like, I guess you could say it was more of the last stand for my mom. Like, this gotta change you. This gotta give you discipline. You gotta understand, like, you can't go into life doing the things you're doing. You're getting expelled from every school you attend. Like, you know, like.
Okay, so what were you getting expelled for? What kind of, just not showing up?
Fighting, man. Fighting, man.
What kind of things we fight over and shit? Was it like hood stuff, like this block, that block, or was it just like this? You know, kids are just rude.
Yeah.
You know, all of it, all the above.
Everybody got their clique. Everybody got their crew. Everybody rep something. You know, whether you liked it or not. Like, you know, like everybody was shaking up. You know, like. It didn't matter what you is. He was, and some points, some people had to just to like, you know what I'm saying, stay out the way. You know, like you had to, somebody walk up to you, what up, G? What up, Lord? What up, Mo? What up, you know? Shake up with them, you know what I'm saying? You know me, you know, I've all day, you know, like, but like, you know, we was shaking up, we was doing all types of shit, and I got into a lot of fights because my big thing in life is respect.
Huge.
You know, I have a huge heart. You feel me? And I come with respect, and I'm biased against any man I meet, any human being on this planet. Cause you know why? Like, you know, that's just me. You know, it's easier for me to get into life that way. You know, I've seen so much, I've done so much. I've seen all the fuck ups, the mishaps, all that. So like, when you come with a big heart and you like, yo, like, they calling him a motherfucking bum, a lowlife, or all that other crap, but like, he cool as dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Man ain't got no money, he ain't, you know, what he do is what he do, but that's my boy, I don't care. Like, you know, like, you know, it's not gonna stop what I got to do in life, you feel me? So I don't like the disrespect, like, you know, like, that was my big thing, like, you know, like, if I'm not fucking with you, or I'm not disrespecting you, or I don't come at you no type of way, man, like, why you fucking with me, you know? You know, like
a little respect goes a long way.
It does, man.
And me, like you, I feel like sometimes I go out of my way to be like extra respectful. That way, if I feel like the negative's off back towards me, I'm like, man, it can't be me, because I was like, yo, excuse me, sir, are you using that ladder? I remember once when we was working, and I'm like, yo, excuse me, is anyone using this ladder? Mine, like, dude turns around, he's like bent over doing something else. He's like, I'm fucking using it. As if he was like on the ladder. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you not gotta come at me like that, bro. But people mistake the kindness sometimes for weakness, bro.
And that's the thing, man. I you know, like, I know it's like, it's just people who they are. Yeah,
life,
you know, like,
as an old guy stuck in his ways, I'm sure he probably I don't know, hasn't seen a chick in however long, whatever, but still.
But it's more of a like, I don't see why people gotta be big to seem like, you know what I'm saying,
when they're not
special.
Really
Yeah.
about it like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
like,
be like, damn, this dude got a big mouth. Like, you could tell he never got punched in it sometimes.
It's crazy, and it's crazy, like, you know, like, and the transition right now is like dealing with the passive aggressive shit, man. Like, it's real hard, like, you know, not to bop somebody in their mouth over the slick shit they say out their mouth, but you know, gotta understand. Remember, it's words.
Yeah.
Don't jeopardize your freedom over words. I
had to walk away from some shit it was at work or something like that. I had to walk away, but I'm like, listen, if it come down to my freedom or my job, I'm choosing my freedom every time.
Like, you
every time, and that's no offense. Y'all can have me back. Y'all can have me back. It's not free, bro. There's opportunities out there. So, when you went to this military school, were you getting arrested too, or was it just stuff at school?
It was more of a like what they called it? Who's Your Youth Challenge Academy? I'm trying to look for the right word to say. Okay. It was more of a reform program, like, you know, like Everest team.
Like, send you to reform school.
Yeah, like, you know.
Like, what the fuck is reform school? That's like an old school thing. At least out here, I know it was just called juvenile detention. Or
right,
whatever.
like, you know.
So that's what it was.
Yeah, I guess it was like Everest Youth. And
all right,
shit
so
like that.
What's your average day? What was the average day there? I'm sure military style. You wake up, they got you up, crack of dawn.
Ass crack of dawn, 6 a.m. every morning. You know, squad leaders and platoon sergeants, 5 a.m. Because you got to get up, get ready, then you got to get the whole platoon up and get ready. You know, it was. And
then what? Right into a workout? You go mess hall.
When we first started, it was a 2-week break-in. It was like the fucking like. Man, like, you was wearing sweats every day. You was running everywhere. Like, you know, like, they was yelling at you, you know, trying to break you down. Like, you know, like, it was, but, you know, I respected it then when I look back on all of it. But, like, you know, shout out to all my cadre. Yeah. You know, like, but, like, a regular day was 6 a.m., up, teeth, brush your teeth, fold your cot, you know, organize your footlocker, stand on deck, be ready to, you know, formation out, you know, then you hit chow. After you hit chow, you hit class. After you hit class, it's PT. After you hit PT, back to chow, you know, like.
So your whole day was, but there's something to be, said for that. Do you think you got anything positive from that? Because there's something to be said for having, like, a rigid schedule like that.
I got everything positive out of that.
Talk to me about it.
I got everything positive out of that. That school is the reason I'm the way I am right now.
Probably the reason you're alive. Trey.
Yeah, man.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Jeez. So, you know, what were some of the positive things that you think you gained from that?
Leadership, actually.
Leadership skills?
Just looking back at, like, how kids look at adults now. When a random kid come around you, you know, like, how they look at you, like, who's this guy? You know, like, what is he gonna do? Like, you may never ever see that kid again.
Right.
But you sparking up that blunt in front of that kid, sits in his mind the whole way. And he's always going to remember that moment. Oh, yeah, that guy smoked right the blunt. Wonder what it's like. Crunch some leaves up in the paper roller. You know, remember.
Bro, so, I'm hit, and bro, and I work outside a lot now with the good weather, man.
Yeah.
And I'll be looking at the kids. Sometimes there'll be nobody over there. I'm working out now. They all want to come over, which I love it. And then they want to start trying to do workouts. Yeah. And that shit makes me feel good because, like we was saying, kids do what they see.
You know
what I'm saying? And not always what they're told. And I'm like, just who knows? Like, that kid, I could have sparked that kid. He might be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, the greatest of all time. I may never know because it's not really about me knowing. Everything happens for a reason, but these reasons are beyond just ourselves. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than us. And I always look at it like that, man. And I think I like that example you give, you know. And nowadays, I do less of the smoking down the parks and stuff like, you know, stuff like, that we was doing as teenagers who the kids probably looked at us maybe as like the cooler kids, and we was really setting a bad example.
Yeah.
And that's why, like.
But you know, like, it was the cycle. We would set bad examples too. You know,
right. Plus, you know, a lot of the people who were leading us too were children. I would say that about you know, my mom and dad were like, you know, they were kids in the mid 80s, you know what I mean? Teenagers when they got
trying, man.
It was a different, different world. Like, nowadays, you could Google stuff. There's so much access to stuff that like we probably never, like, especially back then, dudes didn't have, because if you don't know, who's gonna show you this?
Facts, man.
You know,
like who really is? You know, you're gonna learn by you're gonna learn by get thrown in the fire, or you just gonna learn the hard way. Me, I learned off of life experience and people mistakes, the shit that happened to them. You know, like a lot of, I may see somebody like, you know what I'm saying, get fucked on a home or something like that. Like, you know, now they lost their house and shit like that. Now I know whenever it's time for me to buy a home, not to do what he did. You know what I'm saying? Stay up on my shit. Like, you know, like going, you know, like we all go through our shit. Like, you know, we all make our mistakes, and, you know, everything always gonna come back and haunt you, and always gonna come back and fuck with you. But like, it's up to you to march through that, because that's the only thing the devil can do is bring up and torment you with your past when you move on to a positive life in Christ. That's it, bro.
I could dig that too.
You know,
and I could dig the whole, because even like we might have done some stuff in the streets and stuff like that, and just because you leave the streets behind, like the streets don't leave you behind. So it's like, yeah, I get out of prison, I'm trying to do the right thing and stuff like that, but if someone got something, I gotta still be on my toes and
Facts,
still kind of have that mentality.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm around certain places or whatever. You know what I mean? And like that shit will come back,
and it's crazy because it's like
it'll come full circle, man.
That one guy, you know, you probably had beef with back in the day. Right. You know, like maybe majority forgot, moved on, just like we did. Like that one guy probably sitting that shit in his heart, like, you know what I'm saying, waiting on the day.
To him, like, you're his arch enemy. You don't
for
even
real,
know like
you know?
that. But motherfucker so much hatred.
So much hatred towards you. He come back at you, just waiting on the moment. Like, you know, some Palpatine shit, just sitting in the shadows. It's just like, wild. You know, like.
Yeah, no, I could dig that, bro.
You know?
I want to get into, so from Chicago, so obviously you know about Cook County and all that, man. You know a lot of people that, like, that been to Cook County, that I heard it's crazy, and like, did they have any stories or anything like that?
And I've heard, so I tell you one thing, like, you know, like we were kicking shit earlier, talking about like how you run the streets and not get caught and stuff like that. Like, you know, like a lot of the times it's pure luck.
Right.
It's you just missed that moment. You was probably in a spot where you could have went down with folks. Went down 20 years, y'all just they gotta bang it out, you feel me? But because you went and walked to the corner store to get a couple chips, now you come back, you know what I'm saying, you out. You feel me? Like, or you
luck or divine intervention.
Divine
That's why sometimes I look at myself like, there gotta be some sort of reason I'm here. So many close calls, so many times like that.
You know, like,
I mean? Instances where it's like, man, I was in juvie for 2 weeks. My boys catch a friggin' attempted murder charge. You know what I mean? On 4th of July, I was kind of like, yo, I'm glad I wasn't out for that. Bro.
Yeah, man. You know, like, and
I mean, because I know me, I'd have been in it.
And it's all about that gut instinct, man. Sometimes you gotta follow it, even though you don't wanna. Like, you like, fuck it, man. Like, you know, I'm gonna go. No, like, if that shit's really sitting with you, like, man, maybe I shouldn't go there. Don't go there, bro. Yeah. You feel me? Don't go there. Like, you know, like.
I always say that too. Trust that instinct, right? Because, you know, I'm not a super huge, super religious, but I believe in God and everything like that. And it's like God don't speak English.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? God don't speak how we speak. Like, God, like, that, those feelings, that's, to me, like, that's signs, stuff I see, you know what I mean? That's how God will speak to you, right?
Exactly, brother.
That's how I look at it.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
That's how I look at that, man. Yeah. Trey, I'm super proud of you, bro. And, so, how old was you when you came over here to Boston?
I was 19 years old.
19.
Back in 2013, going into 2014.
So you was done with school and all that?
Yeah,
you got
man.
your diploma through that program, or? I
got my diploma a year after I made it to Boston. I just got it out of the way.
Okay.
Shit, some situations happened so fast that it just caused me to just go, you know? So I left, you know, like, and got over here, got my GED, got down, and, you know, played it for a while, kicked it in the streets a little bit more out here, you know, getting in tune with everybody, chilling, partying, you know, got into, you know, you get into your regular scuffles and shit like that, you know, when shit really didn't change yet, you know, until I really, like, got my actual first job, and it was just like.
So you didn't end up getting in no trouble, though, while you was doing all that stuff out here?
Nah.
Like your boss, that's what's up.
Nah.
So what was your first job, man? And then walk us through your first job up to what you're doing now.
Yeah, man. Quincy, I fell up on Quincy through Youth Build that was helping me with the GED.
Okay.
Fell up on Quincy and Family Dollar. He was going over there every day just getting some snacks. And dude was like flustered and he was all mad and he was like, I got no one in here to help me. I was like, yo, y'all hiring? He got me an application. He was like, come back with that. And got the first job, man. Like just as a cashier at Family Dollar.
That's what's up. That's what's up, though.
You know?
Humble beginnings, especially when we don't really, especially if we're like doing the streets, like we don't got skills like that. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to take a job like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? An entry level job, but then you build recent
up.
work experience.
Yeah.
You build references, and then you move up. You never get complacent. It's always easier to get a job when you have a job.
Yeah.
Too. So,
You know.
So, all right, you did Family Dollar, and then how long was you there?
I was there for like 3 years.
3 years, Family Dollar.
Yeah, and I got fired.
Got fired.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, at least I notice every time with the job where that stuff happens, it's like the next one is like better. Like
Yeah.
It's always like a curse before the blessing or something like that.
And you know, and from that job on, I just learned like, you know, like I gotta pressure and like watch my worth with these people. Like, you know, I was new. This is my first job. You take what you take, you know, at the time, you know. But my next job was like, all right, you know, like now I negotiate. Like, you know, now I gotta know what I want. And, you know, but I was still young, so like I didn't really need much. I just needed some steady checks so I can go kick it and party and hang with the hoes and fucking and kick it with the guys.
You shoot.
You know. So
Sure.
it wasn't no thing. You know, my second job was Tedeschi and now 7-Eleven.
Yep.
I was there for like 5 years, man.
And that's how I really remember you initially.
That's how everyone met me there, bro.
I lived. You remember where I lived? I lived right there.
Yeah, right up the street, man. Yeah, I believe that's why I met Ant, and me and Ant became so cool. Cause I remember Ant going to school at to and from every day to high school, like, you know, a little skinny kid, square head. You know, I remember Ant. You know.
And then you started. All right, so then you got into the production, right?
I went to Nordstrom Rack after Family Dollar.
So you went to Nordstrom first.
Yeah, I went to Nordstrom Rack, and then when I got into Nordstrom Rack I was kind of like doing it part time, and it got more of a serious thing. The seasons picked up, so like they was giving me more work, so I was banging out of Nordstrom, heading over there, you know, and had, you know, one time he just offered me full time, and when I signed the papers and got to full time, I told Nordstrom Rack, I was like, I'm sorry, this is it. Like, you know, like.
So how long until you started doing the stadium rigging? Because I did that for a little bit. That's a little scary being up there and having that responsibility. I wasn't even more so scared like me falling, but I'm like, man, if this don't hold, if this falls, somebody gonna get hurt, man.
Dude.
I mean, did you have any fear of heights or?
Never the fear of heights, man. Never the fear of heights. Me and my brother would race up trees. Like we would see who can get to the top of the tree the fastest, man. That was us. You know.
So you saw that opportunity and was like, that's
dude,
me right there. You
like,
were all over it.
It was like something you fell in love with. You know, like, okay, a lot of people go to school for what they go to school for, and a lot of people take trades and like fall in love with. I fell in love with rigging. I'm in love with rigging. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, this is what I want to be doing 20 to 25 years down the line, being a fucking OG rigger. You know, like,
we see,
you know, like
in the field, the motherfuckers be in the field forever. Yeah.
Forever, man. But you know, you make good money. You make a good living off of it. You can raise your kids off of it, and you can teach them valuable stuff.
I thought it was a pretty cool experience just doing certain shows. Like, yo, man, I did Juice WRLD.
Yeah, like that was
WRLD,
crazy, you know.
Bad Bunny before he blew up. Bro. You know what I mean? Like that stuff's kind of cool.
Cool,
too.
like, you know, like when we did the spotlights for Disney on Ice, and you know, like that was dope, man. Like, you know, like being a rigger was like, I fell in love with it before I even started doing it. I looked up in the sky and was like, saw them chains and ropes and was like, what's this? And you know, like my boy, he explained it to me. He tried to break it down to me, but it was like, you know, fucking out like a professor explaining calculus to you on your first day. Like, it's just like, yeah. But you know, when you get up there and then you're in the business more and you see it more. That's why I love this business. You gotta do it more and more and more. And trust me, the good people, the people that understand it will understand it and thrive, man. Like that's it, man. You know, like, and you know, that's my good. That's it, man. That's you know, like that's where I'm at right now.
Well, all right. What would you say the biggest difference between Boston and Chicago? Biggest difference.
Food.
Besides food. All right, I was just gonna ask you. Okay, food. Who got Chicago pizza or Boston, whatever, Boston, New York pizza? Like the deep dish?
I like the deep dish, man. Chicago's food got Boston beat. And look for all my homies in Boston. Look, listen, hear me out. All right.
I mean, it's a personal choice, man. Personal preference. You can't prove or disprove that. But
yeah.
Go ahead, man. Talk to me.
But ain't no soul food over here, man. You know, that's what y'all missing, the soul food.
So if y'all from Boston and doing soul food joints, make sure you leave it in the comments. We
like,
gotta get my boy
I'm talking
some soul food.
I'm talking about some down south, man. The mushy sweet potatoes, the macaroni, you know, the cornbread. Like, come on, y'all gotta dig like some East Coast soul over here, you know, like but y'all popping on the seafood though. You feel me? Y'all really popping on it. You know, like y'all big time popping on that.
For sure.
You know.
Like Chicago's not an easy place to make it out of, man, and that's why I want to bring you here and tell you, have you tell your story, because you here, man, and it could have went a lot of different ways too, and so I wanted you to, let's pretend you were speaking at a juvenile facility, right, to these kids, man. What kind of things would you tell them?
I would tell them.
What kind of life advice would you give them?
Learn from it.
Learn.
Put it in your head, put it in your mind. Learn from it, and you can always start over. It's easy to start. It's easy to go back into your same olds and start your old habits, but the real challenge, and because if it's hard, it's to start over, man. The transition. Like, people think because, oh man, I went to jail and, like my life's done, like, I might as well just sell drugs for the rest of my life. Ain't nobody gonna hire me. I ain't gonna get no good paying job, but like, I'm telling you, like, just start over, bro. Like,
I've seen it.
Don't give up.
So don't be afraid to start over.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, even if you gotta move, do it, man. Take a big gulp, yell fuck a couple times, charge it to the game, and go, bro. Like, nothing new always feels comfortable.
Right.
And that's the big thing about people. Like, they don't want to feel uncomfortable, like, in a new space, new plot, and a new, like.
And that's why I always say how you know you're doing right when it's it's a little uncomfortable. Comfort's like, comfort will kill your dreams.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Comfort will kill your goal. Being afraid, you know what I mean?
Being stagnant, being there, like.
I mean, Trey, I appreciate you coming through, man. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Man, like, this for all my people out here with, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I guess since B. Luke putting me on the spot, and I appreciate, man, like, like, I feel like I've always wanted to say this, like, it's for all my people out here, like, that's really, 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 like, going through it and looking for a way out, man. Like, listen, man, only person that's going to give you a way out is you. Like, you can't let the people in your ear, talk you out of it. You got to take that step, man, like, real step of faith, man. Like, and I'm not talking God or religion. I'm not pushing that down your throat. I'm talking like a real step of faith of your life, what you're going to change, what you're going to do next. Like, man, like, I went from little street hoodlum to a fucking nerd, a big ass nerd. B. Luke can tell you.
Man, promote your stuff. You still doing the Twitch and the streaming?
Yeah, man. Follow me on Khalifa Gaming, man, and the Khalifas for the smokers, man. We smoke all day, man.
What kind of games do you stream? Just real quick.
Right now we're doing Jedi Survivor 2. We're gonna pick up on some Diablo, and we're waiting on a couple new games to come out if they ever come out,
Right.
But
there you go.
right.
Make sure you check them out on Twitch. And another thing too, since you had brought up your friend about committing suicide and stuff like that, man. If you're feeling that way, if you're feeling down and out, and you feel like you need to reach out, man, reach out to somebody.
Yeah, man.
Talk. You'd be surprised how many people actually care. You know, we tend to like catastrophize and think nobody cares, and it might be the people you least expect, but there is somebody that cares, man.
Yeah,
and if
man.
you're having trouble, I'm gonna drop the hotline, the number to call, suicide hotline, and just because we had talked about it and stuff like that. But on that note, man, Trey, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you,
This is
bro.
the bounce back. It is what it is. What's next is what you make it, and we out of here.
Yes, sir.
Hit that subscribe button.
Bounce back and got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it.